What we understand from the Mughal painting is also when Babur attacked India, he was not very impressed by the Indian subcontinent. He didn't even like the weather, he didn't like the food here. No. But he was somehow impressed by the flora and fauna of India. And Babur was, if you can see, he's a very genius sort of man who was interested in poetry, he was interested in writing. He used to write himself. There are memoirs of Babur which is there in the Baburnama and later painted. And then you have he was like, there are paintings which are done by him. Paintings, I think there are number of sketches which we get. So in that manner he was a man of a very refined taste. But when he captured India and then it's almost like Babur looted and then went back to Kabul. Okay. So, and as I said, he was not quite impressed by the weather of the Indian subcontinent. Then Humayun came onto the throne and he ruled almost for 4 years, and then he was defeated by Sher Shah Suri, and he take refuge in the camp of Shah Tamas in Persia. So this is where he come across these two major artists. He come across this whole Persian miniature tradition. And this is where you will see how he brings these two important miniature artists from the court of Shah Tamas, which is Mir Sayyid Ali and Abdul Samad. And these are the master painters of the Akbar school. So it was brought by Humayun, but when Humayun took over the throne, he was killed within. He didn't rule much, or he didn't have much time to have this painting tradition. So the painting tradition, what we talk about the Mughal, it started during the time of Akbar. Yeah. So the first painting, or was it this, as we have discussed yesterday, this whole Karkhana system came up. It's almost coming from during the from the Akbar time onwards. So it was a huge project. It was almost considered as a dream project of Akbar to paint Hamzanama. And Hamzanama is again a Persian text, and we will talk about the historical, cultural and this lineage of Mughal, Temur, and how they connect with it. He has this magical powers, okay, something mystical, if you see a mystical figure. And the story is the whole, and there is Hamzanama which is done in Persian also, and then this is because he is this character which Akbar was influenced by, and as there are the historians, the scholars believe that and Hamzanama were the first. They were comparatively in size of miniature. If you see, they are almost 2 feet paintings, and it's believed they may be painted like a scroll or something, because these on the cloth, they were painted on the cloth, and they used to be hung around the tents of Akbar. So then you have, and this is, as I said, this is a huge project. It's almost believed that there were 1400 folios which were painted, okay, and most of them are now lost, and they were distributed, they were burnt and fired, and so it's almost, there are very few paintings of Hamzanama done during the time of Akbar is remained, and which is there for us to see. But it's a very interesting set if you see. See, these are some of the instances from Hamza. So it's almost, the Hamzanama is the story of Hamza, all his fights, his magical powers, and how he defeats the demons or his own enemy and all. So it's this whole story of Hamza, about the Hamzanama is the story of Amir Hamza, who is a very important character in the Persian miniature and in the Persian literary source. So around whom the whole story revolve and the narrations are. But when you look at the stylistic quality, when you look at the sets of Hamzanama, the very important part is the Hamzanama is an eclectic set. You will see a different form of style. You will see a sort of a Persian style which is coming up. You see is reflected. You will see certain indigenous style, like what is there, like some certain influences of pre-Rajasthani, what we are calling now as the pre-Rajasthani, or I will call it indigenous style. Then you have certain Central Asian, like if you see this is Chinese. If you see like how the clouds are painted and all, it's more Chinese. How even the landscape is treated, more close to the Chinese landscape. So it's a Central Asian influence which is coming up. So Hamzanama, because if you read the books and all, it says Tutinama was the first set which was produced in the court of Akbar or in the Akbari school. But the first set to be commissioned is the first work to be commissioned is Hamzanama, because it was such a huge project and it was started under Mir Sayyid Ali. Then he went to, I think he went for Hajj, and then it come under Abdul Samad and all. So you will even see how the influence of master artists is also changing. Okay? So where you have a Persian influence somewhere, then when the artist will change, you will see more indigenous style, more towards what coming up of a Mughal, even in Hamzanama sets. So initially, what Mughal painting, what Akbar school, I won't call it Mughal because Mughal itself is the umbrella term for all the paintings which are produced during the time of in the school of Jahangir, Akbar and Shah Jahan. So they are different school, and first school is the Akbari school. So what we are looking here, if you see this painting, the first painting, you see this, and I have showed you the Sultanate and indigenous or the pre. This is the whole new tradition of painting altogether coming up. So, and this is very close to, as I said, it's very close to the Persian painting tradition, where you have this decorated motifs, the decorated, very intricate decorated patterns of textile coming up of this capola, sort of a kiosk type of pattern. Even the whole figuration, it drastically changed. And the important part to look at is the linear quality of the drawings. The linear quality of the painting. It's more drawing based, right? Drawing based. There is sort of a perspective in the painting, and it's the multiple perspective, if you see, which is used in the painting. When I'm talking about this style, how there are eclectic means you take from all the eclectic style in the Hamzanama set is different style, or you take from eclectic is a term used for using different from the different region and making it their own. This is what is happening, eclectic. Okay. So you see, this is one form of style which you find in the set. This is the another form of the style which is happening. Then you have something of this sort. And with this, if you see here, here it is more where you will see huge vistas, the landscape, and the color palette is also very different. Here where you have very bright color palette, then you will see, and even when you look at the Hamzanama set, even the trees and the landscape which is shown, which is not Indian, it's very, as I said, Central Asian towards Persian, Afghanistan, that sort of landscape which you will see reflected in the Hamzanama set. You see it here. And even the depiction of the trees and all, which is somewhere very naturalistic as well as stylized. It almost works like the patterns and all as a motif, if you see, and how intricately they are building up this compositions. And of course the perspective which is coming up with it. So you see here how, and one particular number of sets, one style, where you will have lot of emphasis on the architecture. You will see a lot of architectural building and all which is shown, and it's interesting to look in the Persian as well as in the earlier Mughals, in the Mughal painting also, all through the Mughal school, that how they have they put lot of emphasis on the architecture to show the multidimensionality, or the what you call this dynamic feature of the painting tradition, where they were trying to show infinity of the landscape, or infinity as in the huge vista through the perspective. A very intricate tile pattern of Persia, that ceramic tiles which is used, the towers and all. As I said, a lot of influences on like how carpet design, the intricate motif of carpet design, tapestry, and decoration on the architecture, which is all is reflected when you see the Hamzanama set. It's a beautiful set to altogether to look at. And very important, very interesting, this is the time where the Indian artists or the indigenous artists who are working in the court or who are working in the court of Akbar first time introduced to all these style and all these type of color palette altogether. Okay. So the next text, which is Tutinama, and so Tutinama is early Akbari school, and this tape it's a combination of Sultanate and early Akbari. That's why it's early Akbari, means there are certain things which reflects that it may have taken, there may be the artist from the court of, from the Persian style who are aware about the Persian style, who have worked on it, and then there are indigenous style who have worked on it. Because these particular style, which is known as Chakdar Jama, is the Sultanate style or the indigenous style. But they have almost transformed this whole, and even the flatness of the background. But when you see this particular setting, it's more close to Hamzanama, more close to that Persian tradition of architecture. Then you have Baburnama. So, as I said, you have texts like Hamzanama, Persian texts which were illustrated. Then you have a number of memoirs or number of biographies of Mughal rulers which were painted. So you have Baburnama painted, Akbarnama painted, Temurnama painted. Then you have a lot of Persian poetries like poetry of Sadi, poetry of Nizami and all, which were also illustrated. So the poetry of Sadis which were painted. So and Akbar, if you see, Akbar as a patron, Akbar was a huge, very important. Why? To understand the Akbar's contribution in the Indian painting is very important, because this is the first time where and as I said, Karkhana is not only about the painting. There you have the translation of the Persian text, the translation of the Sanskrit text, or the translation of Sanskrit to Persian is happening. Okay, and then they were painted. So it's a very prolific. If you see, it's a very prolific. The Karkhana is a very prolific space, and as well as Akbar has a huge. It is like he has a very strong ambition to build up that sort of a library, that sort of a collection of these particular illustrations. Okay, so you can understand this project, the whole project, how ambitious is that. And this is the first time with the Akbar you have a lot of recognition is given to artists. And what is he has an eye for people. So one day there are a lot of anecdotes about how he chose this particular artist when he saw him there. So Akbar was a patron, and when you look at Jahangir becomes a connoisseur. Jahangir has a very refined taste. Okay. He will have a very limited number of artists who will paint, who are well-versed, who are almost master in their craft, either in painting animals, in painting faces, in painting landscape. So they are the master artists. But what Akbar has is, as I said, what Akbar has is Karkhanas. Akbar as a patron has a lot of people employed. There are hundreds of people working in this Karkhana, hundreds of artists working in the Karkhanas. So it's almost work as a workshop where artists were given, and so artists became, as artists, it's a profession which has become. And you will find the name of the artist. And this is, as I said, this is the first time artists are writing their name. So we are aware, we are getting, it's almost mark a very important point in the Indian painting tradition, because before that we are not aware about who the artists were. But here, through the name on the folio, like whichever folio is painted, you will find that Chitara, the name of this, who has made the face, who has painted and all, which will are signed accordingly. You find like there are sets in Akbarnama, and there are even sets in the later sets of Ramayana and all, where you will find name of almost 20 to 30 artists which is signed in the borders or at the back. So we know a particular number of people has worked on this particular folio. I'm just talking about folio and not set. Okay, so that's become important. And there are almost number of texts which were translated, number of texts which were painted, illustrated. This is from Akbarnama. And slowly, when we move towards the Baburnama, you will see a sort of what we call as the style of the Akbar school starts seeping in. You have it's almost this transitional phase of the Persian and Central Asian and moving towards indigenous or more Akbari style, which you will clearly see in the Akbarnama, where you will see this landscape toned down. It's almost the muted color palette which has been used. Then the landscape which look the infinite landscape in somewhere in the vertical or the horizontal format, and then the decoration, the ornament, the detailing, the ornamentation is almost losing and becoming more naturalistic. The space start looking more naturalistic. And this is almost quite late in the Akbar school, where you have this, you see, very intricate patterns and a very thick detail, like what you can say, an ornamental decoration, the border decoration, which is known as the hashyas. These are the hashyas. So even now there are painters who just paint hashyas, and there are the painters who paints the composition and then the hashya is put up. Okay? So, and there were a lot of, if you see, there were hashyas become a very important part in the Akbari school after a point of time, because there are gold which has been used in the hashyas. If you see this is the gold, which is making it more a valuable object. So as I said, you will see the architecture which is coming up, the more indigenous architecture rather than looking at the Persian architecture, which is more like minarets and all. Here you will see more indigenous architecture of Havelis and all, which is coming up, but with the Mughal influence, with the Akbari style, not the Persian style. You will see they are devoid of any sort of decoration, because when we have seen in Hamzanama, they have this tile pattern, intricately carved tiles of ultramarine blue and all, and then you have painted even very bright pinks. But here they almost, as I said, toned down, and you have even the color palette for architecture is almost pink, white, a very slight, very light crimson and all, which has been used. These are very late, almost the end of the Akbari school, where you will see the representation where you have almost this polyglotous Bible and all. Like what you can say, the European imagery start coming in the Indian subcontinent, and they were like, because they are coming, they are this admissaries are coming to Akbar's court, and they are gifting him that. So this was sent to the master artist in the karkhanas. They looked into it, and then they, according to their own style, if you see, this is very close to the miniature style, and then they bring that tradition of the portrait tradition. So they might, through clothing, through attire, they may look European or Portuguese, but when you look the stylistic quality of it, when you see the linear quality of it, or even the color palette, they all are quite Mughal or Indian. Then comes Jahangir, and as I explained, that Jahangir has, so Akbar sets, when you look at the Akbari school of painting, they do not have such sort of uniformity. There are number of sets which are painted, so some have indigenous style, some have Persian style, some have mix of them. Then later even late, quite late. जैसे Harivamsha has a comparatively a different style to Akbarnama, maybe painted during the same time. So there are, as I said, there are a number of artists who are working on the different sets. So you feel that sort of prolific style, and this if you try to understand, it's a very dynamic process altogether, where a number of styles have had started being called out as Akbari school or the Akbari school style. Okay, but then when Jahangir comes onto the throne, Jahangir, as I said, Jahangir was already he has already established the karkhanas and appointed artists to paint his portraits, paint flora and fauna. He was fond of flora and fauna, like the animals and the exotic or the different species of animals and all, which were painted. And there are like when the travelers used to come, even whether it is an Indian traveler or European traveler, he will listen to their memoir, what they have seen while coming to India, or what a particular merchant, when he traveled to the other state, what he has seen, what sort of new. And there are times when the merchants or the traders will come and tell him about a particular animal. Like there is a story where somebody explained what zebra is, and he tell Mansoor to paint the zebra. So this is our instances where he has a collection. He wants to have you will see the collection of flora, you will see the collection of fauna, and you will see the collection of birds and all, which is painted, which was his contribution. It's a huge contribution if you see the Jahangir's contribution in the painting tradition. And then you have, as I said, he has very defined taste, or he is very specific what he wants from his painters, okay, or from his artistic guild. He was very clear about it. So these are the sets, particular set which is known as the allegorical set. And allegorical sets are in the painting, in Jahangir's painting, are where Jahangir is represented in a different format, okay, or he is the king of the kings, and he's sitting on an hourglass, where again he's equal to God or equal to Allah. And so as a pious man, if you see him more as like a Muslim, very pious Muslim man. So if you see here, you see Thomas Rowe. This is from somebody from Persia. Then you see I don't remember his name, but he was appointed. He was there in the Jahangir's court, and he is almost gifting him the manuscript. And here you have even the artist who has brought a particular. If you see very minutely, you will see a painting there. And with Jahangir, there is an important factor which is happening, of course, as I said, about his own image, which is made through the painting, which he is trying to project through painting the works which is done in his court. And then you have this coming up of European objects. See, so I'm not saying you will see a European influence, but you will see a European object, which is start seeping into the Jahangir's painting tradition, Jahangiri school painting tradition, because this coming up of a thick hello, and then you have this hourglass, is all that which is coming from the tradition. Even here, if you see the globe, and this is very interesting, like the Matsya Avatar, then you have then the globe, and he is the one who's saving her. So this is how it is like. Then